Hi, everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new live stream, and welcome to the last calendar day of the financial year. Now, depending on where you live in the world, possibly June 30 is the last calendar day of the financial year. I'm sure some countries in the world don't have kind of a technical date, or some do. But for sure, for Australia, today is the day. And then July 1st is considered the start of the new financial year. So most people would then, depending on where they work or what they do for a job, they'll get the paperwork and documents to do a kind of like an end of financial year statement. And then you'd be able to actually then put a tax return into the government. So for Australia, if you've paid lots of taxes over the previous 12 months, you're entitled to a refund of some amount. And based on the amount of money that you've earned and then paid taxes, you're entitled to some kind of a small refund or big refund, depending on what job it is that you're doing. So, yeah, if you're here in the live stream, I know it's very last minute. I did put a little poll out, and it seemed to be kind of quite a lot of people wanted to do a live stream. So I thought, why not? It'll also, I guess, drag the numbers up for the end of the month for the amount of views on the channel. So that'll be kind of good at the same time. So, Mark, how's it going? I can see you live in the comments there. Yeah, and if there's anybody else live, gladly post something into the comments. Just hello, where you're from, anything like that. It's also just nice to know that a lot of maybe regulars are here, or some newbies, I guess you would call it. So, yeah. Marius is here as well. How's it going? Marius, I wonder if you go by Radu. Radu's typically a last name in Romanian, right? So I guess maybe it's Marius or Adrian is a Romanian name, I believe. So Cefac. Oh, hello from Sweden. Oh, I was just watching on the crazy sports channel that I have here, the Diamond League athletics that were from Stockholm. So I guess if you maybe watch sport in any way, I've got this crazy web page or website that's got like every live sporting event, or fairly well everything. So I've been switching over between watching the golf, Wimbledon, tennis, and then I was watching just now the athletics. So it's kind of interesting that there's a bit of a mix. Oh, you are from Romania. Nice. Oh, Adrian's okay. Oh, thank you, Adrian. That's nice. Yeah, I have a middle name also. So mine is Russell Lee Dominic. So I've actually got three. Well, first name is Russell. That's pretty much the only name I use. And then according to my passport, it's Russell Lee. And then I've also got Dominic as a second middle name. When I was christened, the priest wasn't happy with Russell Lee as my name. So Dominic was kind of thrown into the mix last minute. So thanks. Yeah, hello from Sweden. Nice. Central Coast, California is my motherland. Nice. Yeah, I've done some cruising out of Long Beach. And then it's the port that's next to Long Beach. I forgot the name. There's two different places where the cruise ships sail out of there, which is where the cruises leave out of LA. So typically from there, you'd sail either to Mexican Riviera, so you'd go south, Acapulco, Zihuatanejo, Cabo San Lucas, or you could go over to Hawaii from there as well. So hello from San Jose, California. So land of sunshine. So I guess California, yeah, you guys have got a lot of nice weather there. Yeah, it's actually summertime here in Moscow, Russia. And it's been very sunny. Today again, blue skies. Today I went to the local school. The school's currently out for summer in Russia, but they've got summer school, or I guess summer classes. I don't know what they call it. Summer school, I think. And today was their last day of their summer school, and then they've now got 2 months official holidays. So today they had like a in their auditorium, I guess you would call it. They had like plays and some singing, and there was some people doing some dancing, gymnastics, and then they did some like nursery rhymes. I don't actually, it was all in Russian. And then the class that I went to see is doing an English a summer camp. It's like summer camp, I guess they call it for their class. They're doing an English camp, and they did a kind of skit from Tom Sawyer. So that was really cool. Ben, how's it going? Ben, I did see your email. I'm very bad at replying to emails and responding to emails, no matter who sends it to me. I pretty much always use Hotmail, and then the Gmail one I've kind of added to everything else now, because that way, kind of anything that's, sorry to say, Ben, but less important comes to Gmail. But every email is, I guess, important in some form. So yeah, I didn't really put my own Hotmail address in all of the like social medias. So we have lots of people here watching live. So yeah, thanks for coming in. We have 2 likes as well. So thank you, whoever put the likes on the video. That's very nice of you. So Ben, I have a little bit of a plan. Well, not a plan, but I have a about you coming to Russia, right? So there's one thing I kind of would like to buy. Now, it's actually a microphone. It's very small. If you've heard of Rode microphones, this is a Rode microphone right here. But there's the wireless ones that a lot of YouTubers use. And I'd really like to try and get them, actually, either from Australia. Obviously, you're from New Zealand. And maybe you might want to bring it over to Moscow for me. Maybe. It's completely up to you. When I mentioned this idea to my wife, she's like, oh, he can buy this, he can buy that, he can buy this. I said, no. This microphone is only, well, the whole box is, I don't know, very small. Smaller than a box of biscuits, I guess, or a pack of Tim Tams. But I have to figure out a way that I can buy it from a shop where you live with my credit card, or with my card, whatever card, so but that's another story anyway. So hi Russell, when are you going to do another plaza walk to see what's open and closed? I'm in Kiev at the moment. I'm Kiev at the moment. I guess you mean like a shopping center walk, Jade? So I've actually filmed one. I went yesterday into Moscow. Somebody sent me an email. Someone else sent me an email, apart from Ben. Actually, I've been in contact with her for quite a few months after the first couple of kind of shopping center walks. I guess you call them plazas or shopping centers. And she listed quite a few shops that I should go and look for and see if they're open or closed. So I've actually filmed that video yesterday. I went to, well, effectively 3 shopping centers in Moscow. So I went to one called Atrium, which is a Kursk train station, or Kursk Baksal. And then I walked actually to Red Square, which was about, 30-40 minute walk, but it was a very nice walk through this kind of like park and, tree lined street and very, very fancy buildings. I actually walked past the Indian embassy, or I think it was the Indian embassy. And I pretty much walked by buildings, and I accidentally walked by things that I hadn't known were even there. So that was kind of neat. And then I ended up at GUM, which is the very famous, huge department store in Red Square. I went to GUM, and then I walked to the Central Children's Store, which is considered the largest children's shopping center in the world. It's a shopping center for only children's products. And it has about, I don't know, maybe 100 or more stores inside the shopping center. It's over 5 levels shopping center, but it's only children's things. It's very crazy. Don't fully close the door, yeah? Oh, I understand. No. Maybe I can. Oh gosh, I didn't tell my wife I was going to do live stream. So, and we have our router for the internet in the hallway. And basically, I tend to keep that kitchen door open so that the Wi-Fi is stable or more stable. So, yeah, Jade, I am going to make a new. Please chat away. By the way, I will catch up to everyone's comments. I'm a little bit behind reading a reply if I'm talking at the same time, but yeah, I am going to try and upload that tomorrow. I would love to do it tonight before 12 a.m., but technically, I don't think I'll be able to. So I think it'll be definitely tomorrow's new video coming. So if that's what you call plaza walk, maybe, unless you're thinking about me walking in streets somewhere. So did you visit Constanza? I haven't been to Romania at all. No, I've worked with lots of Romanians on the cruise ships over the years. I have some very good friends, even to this day, that I contact via social media like Facebook and WhatsApp, who are Romanians. It's kind of interesting working on cruise ships because you've got crew members from 50 countries. Typically, 50 countries is the kind of normal mix of crew on any cruise ship. So maybe between 47 and 52. But in the shops where I was working, we had Romanian staff. So yeah, it's always interesting to meet people from other countries. Hello from Slovakia. And how many times do people, Peter, mix up Slovakia and Slovenia? I think it's kind of a lot. So yeah, good to see you. And anybody else that's a regular here or maybe watching for the first time, I see lots of names. So Bernard Graff there. Actually, Bernard, I was watching the tennis, and there was a thing about Steffi Graf on there, which is kind of fun. And your last name's Graf, which I think she Steffi Graf married Andre Agassi, and I think even to this day they live in Las Vegas. I think. Max says, I heard that there are some tourists in Russia now during sanction. How is it possible to travel there? Can you still get a visa? How do they pay for stuff? Yep, you can still get visas. There is no change in any visa programs, visa policies. Pretty much from the Australian side, you'd apply online. So you actually fill out an online document. And then what I do from Perth is I print out you kind of pre-fill out a document, which is the application. And then it asks you for whatever extra documents, and then the passport photos, and then your payment, of course. And then for me, I would post it over to the embassy in Sydney. So the Russian embassy, they've got one in Canberra, one in Sydney. But the Sydney one is the one that deals with all of the visa inquiries, applications, and so on. Yeah, so basically all the countries that have Russian embassies working or open or whatever you call it, there is no difference in any situation with getting a visa based on whatever your travel habits are, or, I mean, obviously if something's right or wrong, then you're not going to get one. But for most people, how do they pay for stuff? Now, that's interesting. So basically here in Russia, you can't use any payment cards, bank cards, credit cards, ATM cards that are non-Russian. So actually, Ben, who's planning to come to Russia, you probably know this already, I'm sure, but basically, like my Australian cards, which worked for the history of me living here over the last 9 years, at some point in March, April, I don't know exactly the day, because it depended on the different banks in Russia, and then the processing system through their banks. So where you go and pay for something in any shop, they've got a terminal, like for the tap and go payment and things like that. But then they'd use a bank to process that through. So whichever bank they would use, essentially, was slowly getting cut off from this SWIFT payment system, which is basically the ability to transfer money essentially internationally. So slowly I noticed it wasn't working in some places. It worked in others. It worked in some, not others. And then that was it. It completely stopped. So pretty much where tourists would come to Russia, they'd want to bring cash, either US dollars or euros, primarily the two main currencies that are easy to change or to use or spend. You're not going to go and spend them in stores. You're going to change them in a bank or at a currency exchange. That's pretty much it. If, for instance, in an opposite way, like with my wife and I, we now have Russian, or she's had Russian bank accounts. Obviously, I've got Russian bank accounts since I've been living here. I wouldn't be able to use my Russian bank card outside of Russia. So, for instance, when we were living in Australia, my wife and I have an apartment here, or a studio, we call it. It's a 1-bedroom apartment that we rent out. And that guy was depositing the rent in the bank every calendar month. And then we would, or she would use her card to pay for things, or she didn't really withdraw cash from the card because there's fees, but she would use it to pay for things, and then it would just transfer in whatever ruble currency when you pay in dollars in Australia. So yeah, there's actually a little bit of a problem now, essentially, where, okay, probably not so much now, but going back 4 or 5 months ago when everything sort of started, where there was a lot of Russians living outside of Russia and were using their cards. Obviously, they then couldn't use their cards, right? So particularly where they rely on that as a payment type. And then a lot of Russians were traveling. So they were in Thailand. A lot of Russians go to Thailand, go to Bali, to Turkey, to Egypt. So I had a friend who was in Thailand at the exact time when everything happened. And he had that problem where he couldn't use his card to pay for things, particularly going for dinners, going on excursions, any kind of payment in a shopping center or wherever you would go. He, luckily for him, he actually brought currency with him. He took US dollar currency with him. He's very, very well traveled, so it wasn't really a problem for him ultimately. But the airline that he used to fly to Thailand, it was like a package deal where you get the hotel, the flight, the meals at the hotel and things like that as a package. They basically stopped flying, so he had to pay for another ticket back with, I think he flew with Emirates, I believe, from Bangkok to Dubai, then Dubai to Moscow. So yeah, so that's really, Max, that is a problem for tourists, or actually anybody. So anybody that would come even on business here, who would, make bookings for hotels, or they'd change hotels, or they go to a restaurant and have dinner and obviously offer to pay, like, sort of thing. If someone took me out for dinner and they were from a foreign country, they couldn't use their card to pay, which is a problem for someone that's, like a business traveler wouldn't be able to use their card, and it's, there's a problem. So bit of a long answer. So I hope that's, hi, Russell. Wonderful that you spent time with the kids. What questions did they ask you? Today, really, they didn't ask me too many questions. That was last week, about 2 weeks ago, I went, when they had the kind of the English class had the whole, well, it was about half a day that I was there. So today, basically, I turned up at 11 o'clock, and then they actually had this, it was a concert in the auditorium. And then I was the only adult there, apart from the school teachers. I thought the parents were coming because it was the end of the summer camp event. And I thought, oh, there'll be parents there. I won't really look out of place. But I was the only person that was invited, other than the teachers from each of the classes. So they had primary school through to high school classes. But they're basically extracurricular things that they do for summertime. But the class that I was with was pretty much all students. It was only for learning English. And then after we finished the concert, we went back to the classroom and we had a pizza party. So the teachers arranged to get some drinks. So we had some like juices and some Snickers candy bars, and some pizzas. They ordered delivery pizza to the school. So that was kind of nice. Actually, all the kids, I think she said that they paid 200 rubles each, which is about $3 or $4. About $4 each. Each child paid for the class, into a kind of a bit of a fund to pay for the pizza and the drinks. So it was really cool. They didn't really ask. The one guy was curious about what car I owned in Australia. That was kind of interesting. And then he was interested in the price of petrol, which in Russian is called benzine. So he was interested in the difference in the price of fuel. That was about it, really. The teachers and I were chatting probably more than the kids. The kids were a bit distracted today because it was the last day. What's very interesting there at the school is all the kids are using their phones. The teacher said that they can't use it during lessons, but any other time they're allowed to have their phone, use their phone. And I found that very interesting. And the kids can come and go. Okay, so this is like summer classes as well, so it's not, like strict rules, I guess. But I was talking to her about the school doesn't have a uniform policy or any kind of rules about what they can and can't wear to school, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, they actually I don't have it here, but they made me this. I think my wife hid it somewhere. They made me this like picture or poster. What I might do is I might pull up the photograph because it was kind of a nice. I think it's a nice photo. Let's screen share. So where is the screen share? Right here. So I actually made a little group. So there's 17 people in the group. And where's the photo now? Let me just go back and find this photo. This is the classroom. They were doing they teach a lot of the class that I was at was teaching things in English. So basically, they do all sorts of different activities through the day, but it's purely in English. And these are the guys doing I think this is like a history lesson that they were doing. This is the class. This is actually the auditorium. This is not the play that I went to. This is a different one that they did. Where is the photo? Oh gosh. Sorry, everyone. I thought oh, there we go. It's probably a little bit hard to see, but that's all the class there. And then actually the administration, the lady on the end and the other guy were like the administrators of the whole school. So they came to the class as well. And these are all of the students. And then the lady here is the teacher of the English class. So yeah, it was very nice. This was outside. Actually, this is a better photo, I think. This and then actually on the way home, so I just basically planned to walk back. It's only walking distance to the school. One of the students walked me home, sort of thing, which is a bit weird. But she lives like the 2 buildings from where our apartment is. So there's there's 4 buildings basically on one street. So we walked the same direction. So we walked home. So it was very nice. Yeah, we can sort something out. No worries. Yeah, about this microphone. Yeah. So if you might look up Rode Wireless Go 2 is the name of it. Wireless Go 2. The box is very small, and then the microphones are very, very small. So what I'll probably do is I'll just maybe contact a couple of stores in New Zealand and see if they'll allow me to pay with my card somehow online or maybe via a Skype call or something. And then they can hopefully then, depending on where you live, that you could either pick it up or I can get it posted to your address. I'm not sure. I'm glad my main people boycott is paying over there. I'm glad my mean people boycott is paying off here. Good people here. I guess I'm a bit confused by that one. What kind of Wi-Fi internet do you use? Cellular, fiber, or DSL? It's a Wi-Fi router plugged into the phone line. So I guess it's cellular, I think. I'm not sure. It's not fiber or anything like that. This building, I don't believe, has fiber internet. but it's very fast though. If I do downloading, it's like 9 or 10 megabits a second for downloading when I'm doing like movies and TV shows. I think it's very fast anyway. And the problem is, like, when I'm doing streaming, it doesn't look as fast. It's another photo of the class here. I'll just leave that up for a second, and then, but for what I'm using and what I compare to Australia, it's very good, and it's very cheap here too as well. We're paying 900 rubles a month, which would be about $15 a month, maybe a little bit less, is the monthly internet fee. In Australia, just to give you an idea, I was paying $60 a month for unlimited internet, and that was packaged with my phone as well. So we were paying, like, I think it was between my wife and I and the internet, we were paying about $150 a month for 2 mobile phones and then the internet. This is in Australia. And here it's basically 900 rubles. And there's actually different versions. You can get a cheaper version, which is about 600. And we're paying the kind of 900 one. So it works out perfectly fine for what I need. So we can, if I skip on paying the bill, for some reason they don't send a bill or a warning that it's going to run out. So just magically at midnight it switches off. But what I can do is I can do hotspot from my phone straight to my laptop, this is a laptop that I'm running here, and then through the screens. And then I can just keep using the internet anyway. So no, we're planning to. Yes, we have to bring adequate cash with us. Also, it's still required to supply a negative PCR test on arrival. Also, is it still required to supply a negative PCR test on arrival for anyone who isn't a citizen? I'm not sure about that, actually. I guess you're asking me, or already. I'm just thinking when I arrived, I know this was last year now, they were quite particular about it when I left the country. And I almost certain when I arrived in Moscow that they didn't even ask for it. If I'm not mistaken. I know for the check-in in Perth Airport, it was crazy. That was kind of, late last year. And you had to get the PCR test within a certain time frame of the departure as well. So I think it was 72 hours. So you might want to check that on the airline's website. Like, for instance, if it's like Emirates or Qatar Airways, I know they tend to have like an updated thing on that. So does anyone confuse you for Austrian? No, not here. Very typically, Mark, everybody thinks I'm American. And when I'm talking in English and you hear someone sort of say something like, when they hear you speaking English, they say Amerikansky. Oh, Amerikansky. Because I'm speaking English, they think I'm American. And I'm incredibly quick to correct people, particularly people who are almost a little bit rude about it, who just jump straight to the point and think that I'm American. Sorry for everyone that's in America. I'm not being negative to you guys, but I'm quick to always point out that I'm Australian. There is a bit of anti-American sentiment here. I think that's, probably from the history of Russia, not just in the last 5 months. And I'm quick to always point out that I'm speaking English, but I'm Australian. And they're like, oh, okay, Australia. Oh, and they laugh and giggle and joke. And I guess they put the American part out of their head. So good, Leo. Yes, thank you. Good to see you live again. Thanks. Yeah, I thought I'd sort of throw this in as the end of month last live stream. So just email me the model. Oh, okay, just email me the model and I can buy it and pick it up if that's easiest. We can sort out the rest over when I'm over here, or whatever suits you. Yeah, the idea is to try and pay with my credit card, because I'm trying to use my credit card somehow to keep it kind of being used, if that makes sense. So I'm going to see if any of these couple of stores that I found online are happy enough to let me do that. Maybe, or maybe they have like a way that you can buy it online. I'll just see, Ben. I'll let you know. Honestly, I think I've got about at least a month, so I've got plenty of time, kind of sort things out. Had a stroke, so my syntax is off. I commented on the kindness of this channel. Had a stroke, so my syntax is off. Oh, okay. I'm glad it's paying off here. Okay, sorry. I'm still a bit confused with the thing. So strokes are not good, by the way. Any kind of illnesses, ailments, where you got a bad leg, an elbow, like my wife has got a bad leg at the moment from when we had a car accident a couple of weeks ago. And, it's kind of hindered us wanting to go out anywhere or go for a walk or go into Moscow. Like yesterday, I walked a fair bit, walking between the two different shopping centers. And typically my wife would, probably maybe not come along yesterday, but it would have been a good time just to go for a walk somewhere in Moscow yesterday when we had time free. Would Russians think your baseball cap indicates American? Not at all. It's very interesting here. A ton of people wear English slogans on their T-shirts, on their hats. I'm sure a few of them realize that they're like sporting teams like Yankees and Red Sox and LA, I think Dodgers. And there's a lot of people that wear sports branded clothing. And I kind of assume that they know what those teams are. And then there's a ton of people, particularly younger people, ladies, that wear like slogans on their T-shirts. Like it doesn't matter what the wording is, but it's in English. And I'm pretty sure that most of them don't know what the words mean on the slogans. For someone to possibly figure out like where I wear my cruise line hat and to figure out that's an American company would be like crazily interesting that they would pick up on that. But it's amazing how many people do wear English slogan T-shirts versus Russian slogans or Russian brands or Russian companies. A lot of people want to wear English themed clothing or whatever type of thing it is. It's just interesting for me how many of them don't know what they're wearing. Like they've got a like poetic sort of signage or line, words. And I just find that interesting for me, so. Travel question. Did you, Peter, did you experience really bad weather on the cruise ships, big waves, etc.? Occasionally you do. So the cruises that I've been mostly doing over all the years was out of the Caribbean. So there's obviously a hurricane season, which is, I think it's April through September, is considered the hurricane season. The cruise ships pretty much avoid any kind of bad weather. Particularly when they, can, look ahead a week, maybe you're doing cruising, which is 4 or 5 days or 7 days. And, the cruise lines and most of the cruise lines now have like weather centers in their home office, like Carnival, I know has, Royal Caribbean has, and they've got basically a kind of a room where they've got all of the meteorological charts up on the screens. They've got kind of GPS plotting of where the ships are. And then there's basically like a crisis team, I guess. I think I don't know what the Carnival one is called, but crisis team that meet when they've got incidents and things going on, like particularly weather incidents where they've got to reroute the ship or change the ship's direction. It's not sometimes down to the captain to decide, although he's in charge of the ship. There's obviously a home office that make decisions as well for the route of the ship or the route. So where the ship has to change ports because of bad weather, or they have to go to another port, or they can't go to a port, the cruise lines then would contact the port authorities. The captain's not on the phone doing any of that. So I think it was Hurricane Sandy. I don't remember when that was now. Kind of a lot of years ago. We were sailing off the East Coast out of Norfolk, Virginia. The cruise ended early. We took the guests off the ship in the port, so we came back, I think, 2 days early from the cruise. They canceled the last port, and then all the guests got off, and then essentially the ships are safer at sea than they are in the harbor. So we went out to sea and basically just rode out the rough weather. It's a lot easier to not have guests on board when it's rough seas, because the guests will complain, they'll get seasick. I don't know, all sorts of things go on. So whereas the crew basically can grin and bear it. Yeah, I mean, bad weather, the thing is, people can kind of have a cruise where it's rained for 3 days in 3 ports of call, and they can say that's bad weather. Versus, hurricane style weather where it's, big seas, big winds, more rain, and then that's bad weather. So, and then someone will go, "Oh, my last cruise ship, it was calm seas every day, and I've come on this cruise ship and it's rough seas." There's nothing you can do, So, Faith asks, if you're not speaking, do you blend into a crowd, or do people recognize you as a foreigner? Very typically, particularly in winter, which we've just sort of finished now, definitely. It's summertime here. Wearing a jacket, scarf. I'd wear a beanie versus a baseball cap. I say I would blend in very well, particularly the fact that everywhere wears dark black jackets, black pants, black shoes. Black beanies, and I would even have gloves if I was going to go walk in Moscow, like thick gloves. So I definitely would blend in a lot more in wintertime, versus in summertime now. I mean, today I'm going to the school, I wore pants and a shirt, a button-up shirt, so I looked more presentable. But yesterday when I went to Moscow, I wore shorts and a t-shirt and a hat. A lot of Russian. I mean, I don't look Russian. I mean, there's definitely a look when you look at people that they're Russian, or you can tell the difference between people that are Russian and then people that are from Uzbekistan, Armenia, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan. So you can definitely see a difference in the look of people that are not true Russians, if there's such a thing, right? So I definitely don't look like true Russian. It's hard, I guess you could say the word, to dress like Russian guys. There is a certain look, though, I guess you can aim for, but definitely wintertime, I'd be unrecognizable. But a lot of people are unrecognizable because everyone's just bundled up because it's minus 10, 15, 20 degrees. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, I think more about baseball caps than the branding. I have heard previously that Europeans identify baseball caps with Americans. Yeah, you do see, people wearing the baseball caps here, particularly now in summertime with the weather the way it is. There was a girl yesterday when I went to the children's store. She was probably a teenager, and she was wearing like a Chicago Bulls shorts. This is a girl. And she was wearing not a Chicago Bulls jersey, but like a T-shirt. And then she actually had like like trainers or shoes on, tennis shoes, trainers, with socks like pulled up. I mean, I would assume she'd know what the Chicago Bulls were, but she could have just bought that, but not knowing the brand at all. You do see a lot of people with like Yankee-style baseball caps. I mean, I think it's just more the I guess you could say that it associates with American brands and trends and things like that. So, Mark's off to do chores. Take care. See you later, Mark. Thanks for joining us for this impromptu live stream. I hope you have a good day. Yeah, I did some washing up earlier. My wife came home and then she said I didn't wash up enough things. Like, we kind of had about 2 sinks worth of things to wash up. Also, right now in summertime, we've had our hot water switched off. So the apartment block where we live here, they have like a substation for I guess it's for power. I know it's for water for sure. We don't have gas in our building. Most modern buildings, they don't put gas in the buildings because it's considered unsafe. And anytime you kind of see on the news like Russian apartment building like blew up, it's normally like a gas explosion or faulty gas main or line or something. So pretty much even modern buildings now, they won't put gas into the buildings because things go wrong. So yeah, they pretty much, depending on where you live, particularly in apartment buildings, at some point over the course of summer, they switch off your hot water. I don't know why the hot and not the cold, but they do maintenance. So we've got 2 weeks of, it's normally 10 days. I needed to have a look at the calendar, what it said. I know it's for another 6 more days. I think 6 of the 7th. 6 more days until we get our hot water back on. So we're having cold showers at the moment. And even washing up today is a problem in cold water. You know, things are better in hot because it soaks better. So, yeah, if you want to do a hot shower, we have to boil some water on the stove or in the kettle. And then you take like a bowl and almost like a ladle, and you kind of splash it on you. The other day before I went out, I basically did a bit of a 2-minute speed shower with the cold water on, because for some reason the cold here is like really cold. It's not just like cold water; it's really, really cold water. So yeah, I'm pretty sure other Russians. I just noticed now, Dimmer and Real Moscow Projects are both here. So they probably experienced when their water switched off in their apartment building. Some people do have like hot water heaters, sort of I don't know what you call these boxes that you can have built into your bathroom to heat cold water. But the apartment we're in, actually this one we're in, and we lived also previously in this building on the 11th floor, it didn't have one. So good evening, Russell. Pleased to see you. Yes. Sorry, did I say hello already, Nelly? Sorry if I didn't. Oh, Bogdan is here as well. Oh, it's another Romanian. There's 2 Romanians in the live stream then, if Adrian's still here. Real Moscow Projects. Real Moscow Projects is one of the administrators? Moderators of the channel. So if anyone's saying anything crazy. Dimmer's here as well. Dimmer from Russia has so Real Moscow Projects and Dimmer from Russia both have YouTube channels. So if you're interested, anybody who wants to watch English-speaking content on YouTube, Dimmer from Russia is from St. Petersburg. Actually, he's been what do you call it? He's been a guest on the channel before. We had a live stream together. And then Real Moscow Projects lives here in Moscow, and her and I and her partner, we've been out a few times on events, I guess. And she just recently did a video, Real Moscow Project. I'm going to promote you here for your video. She went to a food bazaar, which we call a rinok. And I've actually been to that exact rinok where she went to, and I wanted to make a video there. I was with my wife at the time, and she's like, "Oh no, that won't be popular. People won't watch that video." And then Real Moscow Project lives very close to that same area where we were at Domodedovskaya. And her video has become very popular. And she wants to know why. Like, why is so many people watching it? But it's a good video. She points out all the things in the shop, in the market there, and some of the pricing, and talks about some of the different items. So, I haven't drunk it yet. You see Coca-Cola and Jumbo Cola. Yes, I have the small bottle waiting. And actually, at the moment, I'm not drinking cola. I'm drinking Cherny. I forgot how you pronounce this. Chernigovska. This is pear soda, I guess. But it comes in different flavors. The one I really like is the Mandarin version of this. This is the one that I'm currently drinking. So I've kind of gone off Coke a little bit for now. But the plan is to get a few different types. Today I didn't go anywhere after I came back from the school. But I'm going to go to the shop, or a couple of different shops, just to get a couple of small other bottles to make some comparisons. Actually, this morning on the way to the school, I went to the store down the road, to Pitorchka, and they have very poor selection of sodas in that store for some reason. I don't know why. and ended up getting a bottle of water, which is unlike me. So, yeah, both bottles are not open. Yeah, the Coke I bought yesterday, I've not even put it in the fridge, which is bad of me because I keep forgetting to put drinks in the fridge. Yeah. Peter's got to go. Yeah, thank you, Peter. Have a nice day. Yeah, end of the month, end of the financial year. Thank you. Do you know how many? I work at school as a teacher. Do you know how long my paid summer vacation is in the north of Russia? No, I'm not sure. Actually, today when I was sitting with the teachers, I wanted to ask about that summer classes that they were doing, if it's additional wages or how they get paid, and I never got around to asking. I might. My wife is actually going to be doing some English lessons with one of the teachers, so I might get my wife to kind of ask for me this about the. Do you know how long my paid summer vacation is in the north of Russia? Yeah, yeah. I know as of today, basically they're on 2 months summer holidays because the teachers said that after I left and we all left the class, that they were going to have their like teacher party. So it's quite funny because at the time we were joking because everyone was sitting quiet eating their pizzas and having their drinks. And I said probably most of the parents, like this, the teachers were all like cheering for a few seconds. And I said, probably the parents are probably willing for you to, if they give you money every day to buy pizza, that the kids keep coming to school every day rather than staying home, because obviously the parents need to find things for the kids to do, and particularly where maybe one or two family members both work. Actually, I used electric shaver. This was last night. I shaved. No, this morning. No, I shaved first thing this morning. Sorry. Yeah, that was. I have an electric shaver, so I don't use like foam and a shaving stick. So it was basically dry shave and then very cold water in the sink in the bathroom. So yeah, Nelly, I'd be kind of curious about the how that works with school holidays for the teachers and the things like that. One kettle of hot water, 1.8 liters diluted with cold water is the largest pot. In the largest pot is enough to wash when the hot water is turned off. Yeah, my wife's got like she kind of puts a pan on the stove. So what she'll do, she'll boil the kettle and put that in there to speed up the boiling because it's obviously electric cooktop we've got. And then she's got like a big other bucket in the shower, and then it's like a spoon, I'll call it. I don't know, ladle. Purvis, Purvis, how's it going, by the way? Are you able to freely travel within Russia? If so, take us on a train trip to Siberia. Yeah, that train trip is a big train trip. I am completely able to travel freely in Russia. I've now got my residency for Russia as well, so I can even leave the country and come back and do anything I wish at the moment. Yeah, actually, Dima from Russia, who's in the channel, I don't know if he's popped away or not. We did talk. Well, I talked about it that we should go and do that trip together. He's in St. Petersburg, obviously, either St. Petersburg or Moscow is the starting point, and then probably fly back. He wouldn't do the train both directions. It would be kind of a long trip. Oh, Nelly says it's 80 days. Yeah, the two ladies today said that they've got the 2 months off. So I guess that's 60 days. But then I guess they've done the last few weeks for the summer camp. So I guess prior to today, that would have made up the difference of the 80 days. I'm not sure. So you need to buy all colas you can find and taste in during the stream. Yeah, real Moscow projects. Yeah, that was what the consensus was in the live stream. Should we put the poll up again? I wonder if I can do that. Russian cola Tasting in a live stream. Yes or no? Ask your community. I don't think we'll get a lot as many responses, but I guess there's a few people here who are maybe we'll answer. Oh, Sarita, Sarita, sorry, have to run. Russell, thanks for the recent video work, trade show, live stream, and more. Yeah, there's another video coming tomorrow, which is when I walked around the couple of different shopping centers. The one that I've just filmed there was pretty much covering shops that were supposed to be closed or have left Russia, and pretty much all of them are still open and still trading. So keep well to you and your friends. Thank you. Sorry. Lauren says Dr. Pepper. Yeah, Lawrence, I tell you what, in terms of over the years, great roommates, he would have to take the cake as a good roommate. He came on as a new hire when I was roommates with him on the Dream. And then we basically went home when the COVID happened. He originally, I don't know if he told you any of his story, Marks, but he originally was a miner in a mine in his town in South Africa. He was working in the mines, which is completely opposite to him working in the liquor store and then in the watch store. And he came on as what's called a new hire, which is where you work on the ship for the first time ever. And he worked in the liquor store with me, so I taught him everything about liquor selling and things like that. And now he's come back and he's gone on to Horizon, which was the ship that I brought out before coming to Dream. And obviously I talked all about the Horizon to him and told him about it. And what do you know? He got to go on the Horizon. And the plan was for us to both be on Horizon together and be in the liquor store together. But obviously things haven't worked out fully. And now he wants to move on to the watch training and different things. But yeah, his father he's retired now, was a very high-ranking police officer in the South African police force. I forgot his father's name, but anyway, his dad follows me on Facebook, and I communicate with him every now and again. So, but yeah, very nice guy. Yeah, when you're working on cruise ships, everybody, you kind of live two to a room. So typically you live by department. So shop staff live together, people from housekeeping live together, dining room live together. And then whoever your roommate is whoever your roommate is. So where someone left and I would replace them, or they leave and someone replaces them, that's your roommate. So, and very typically everybody gets along great. You know what I mean? The guys work together. It was actually a little bit unique in the fact that we both shared a room together and we both worked in the liquor store together. So we spent a lot of time together. A lot of times when you work in different parts of the shops, you don't necessarily see each other all day. So sometimes, like I had on the Horizon, my roommate was actually he was also maybe he was also on the Horizon in the main watch store upstairs. Was a Mexican guy. So we never saw each other at work because he was on deck 5, I was on deck 4. And we didn't see each other all day, so you'd get to the end of a long sea day and you've got something to talk about. Whereas like Lawrence and I being roommates, it was just like a never-ending friendship, So yeah, he's a good guy. Misses you for sure. Yeah, especially when someone like you went in to meet him and you just bring up my name randomly. So it's actually he found it kind of fascinating that even when I was on Dream, people would recognize me from YouTube, from videos from the Horizon. I made some on the Dream. We actually made together. I really should share this with you because I'm sure you haven't seen it, but I'll see if I can look it up while I'm chatting. We made a video doing a water slide review on the Carnival Dream, and I hope water slide review. Actually, we also went in Cozumel together. We did a tour of the Paradise Beach in Cozumel. So maybe you can check this video out, copy link. It might be interesting to watch. If anyone wants to watch a YouTube video that's a little bit different, pretty sure this is the one. Yeah. So yeah, that's a video on the water slides on Carnival Dream. So there was basically another roommate, we didn't have three, another guy from South Africa, Evie. So actually, it was really good because Lawrence and Evie got together, got very friendly as well, were friends as well. So when the three of us, we did a water slide review, which is very cool. So check that out if you get a chance. Completely unrelated to the live stream. By the way, there's 23 likes. So I think a few people maybe clicked away, but thank you for watching live. This was a little bit unplanned, but I just thought I'd sort of do an end of calendar year live stream just to get the views up for the end of the month. No other reason really. And also to chat to you guys. A lot of people in this live stream are returning viewers, and I start recognizing everybody's names here. So it's nice. Hey, you'll watch it after the stream. Yes. Yeah, I just thought about it now that we were in two videos. We were in also the Paradise Beach. There's two Paradise Beach Cozumel videos that I did. They're in a playlist, like a playlist about the ports of call. And he and I went there because I told him that I'd been on my own previously. And I said, we'll go there and we'll let them know we've made a video. We'll see if we can get free passes for the day. So when I turned up, I said, "Oh, can I speak?" I didn't tell them I was coming. I thought, we'll just turn up. Can we speak to the manager or whoever's on duty? The guy comes out and I said, we want to make a YouTube video. I have a channel about cruising, and maybe you know my video already. I said, just take out your phone for a minute, put in there Paradise Beach Cozumel into the search of YouTube. And my video came up first in the rankings. There's a ton of videos about this resort, Paradise Beach. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we know your video. Thanks very much. Thanks for sending people, He said, "Oh, what do you guys want to do then?" I said, "Oh, we really want to make a video." He said, "Oh, no, you can have food and drink for free for the day." And he gave us these like wristbands. So we basically incorporated that into the video. I mean, a lot of streamers get a lot of stuff for free, right? So, and pretty much that's all I've had for free in my whole time of making the cruise videos. I guess probably I'd have to probably ask the cruise lines to be invited to cruises and things like that. So, yeah. Actually, what I was going to do too, I just realized, and I put that into the, title. Can we reach 7,000 subscribers? And I was just thinking, I don't think we'll get there tonight. I know I always live hopeful and in a dream. But where are we here? We're on, let me just get the screen share. We're on 69:36. So actually, funny enough, when I did the live stream the other day, where was it here? So I forgot which day it was here now, but we only gained like one subscriber in one day, one the next day, and then we lost subscribers. So I don't know what I did right or wrong, but just let me pull that forward, drag that over there. I have three screens here, by the way. I have a kind of a semi-fancy setup, but it just helps a lot with what I'm doing. What does the poll say? So we got 9 votes and one, I guess 89% would be like 8 yes and 1 no. So I'm sorry if you're the no voter. That's a bit overwhelming that I should do it. Russell, do you drink vodka and do you pick up mushrooms in the forest? Nelly, I don't do either. I drink beer, but not that much. I guess occasional beer. I don't drink vodka at all. I have an occasional one if I'm at someone's house here and they offer a shot or like a cheers. Uh, where obviously everyone has a shot glass and cheers, and we have to have a one shot, and that's pretty much it. I'm not into doing kind of in Russia when you have a meal at somebody's house or you've got a party or celebration or whatever birthday. About every 10 minutes, there's like a small speech and like a cheers, and for whatever reason you're cheersing for. So, um, yeah. And picking mushrooms, I've never been and done it. I know that quite close to where we live, well, in the other direction, there is actually some forest area. We live alongside Kiev Highway, so that basically is the main highway from southeast of Russia into Moscow. And there's basically forest on either side of Kiev Highway. Between where we are here and then Vnukovo Airport, there's a whole lot of land. And I know some people do go and do it here. Actually, that would have been a good question for the kids. I should ask that. In my Telegram group, I'm going to have to ask now if the kids go and do that. So I've never gone and done it at all. So I know when people live in the dachas or in the country houses, I guess dachas, it's a popular thing to do. So whenever I head back to the ships from an excursion, sometimes I get directed to the crew entrance. Yeah, so the Horizon basically has those two forward gangways, and then there's the aft gangway in the marshalling area, and then typically for Cozumel there's always this big upset. I one of my pet peeves was they set up a crew gangway in the marshalling area, then they let all the guests use it. And then when the crew want to come back on board, particularly in the afternoon in Cozumel, there's kind of a line of guests in the same crew line, so the crew can't get on board quick enough. I'm mistaken for Indonesian, and crew members think I'm a crew member. Oh, that's funny that you look Indonesian. Oh, so it would be Made Mark. I'm Made Russell, by the way. So Balinese crew members. So in Indonesia, in Bali, because of the Hindu religion being predominant, Balinese get a name based on if they're firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, fourthborn. So if you maybe ever notice when you're on the cruises, there's a lot of Mades, Wayan, Katut, Wayoman. So based on if you're firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, you'd get everyone in the whole island of Bali gets the same name. So being secondborn, because I have a sister, I'm Made, so I'd be Made Russell. So, and all the crew members, especially on Horizon, I was there a few contracts. They'd all say, "Oh, Made Russell, how are you, Made?" So, I don't know if you picked up on that when you were on the cruise or not. Yeah, that's interesting that you got sent to the crew line. Yeah, I got mistaken for Indonesian when coming back from an excursion. I get direct to the crew entrance to the ship once in a while. Yeah, it's actually kind of handy if there's no line on it, but in Cozumel particularly, it's a big deal that everybody comes back in the last hour, and then the lines are huge, and then guests get upset and complain, "Oh, the line's too long." Well, if the ship's got 4,000 people, naturally a lot of people are going to want to get on the ship in that last hour and extend their time in port as long as possible. So I don't even know what I like more about picking mushrooms or walking through the forest with a knife. Maybe you're worried about other animals, maybe in the forest. I wouldn't even know what to look for. I'd know to look for mushrooms, but in Australia, you kind of more worry about like spiders and snakes and other things when you're walking through the bush. In Russia, it's forest. But in Australia, we have a lot more what we call bushland, which is kind of like forest, but it's just not as green because it's much drier country. Most of the most of the plants or the trees in the bushland areas are deciduous trees. So they're also more water tolerant. So there's year round the trees have leaves on them, but the floor of the forest or the bushland, you're kind of looking where you're stepping. You're looking if something's ahead of you, behind you, whatever. So I don't think I would be a very good mushroom picker. I'd have to really go with someone to show me what I'm looking for. I'm at Aikatut. Yeah, I mark. But depends on if you're first, second, or third, or fourth born. Let me see if it shows here. Balinese names in order. Yeah, so in general, Balinese people name their children depending on the order they were born, and the names are the same for both male and female. The firstborn child is named Wayan, Putu, or Gede. The second is named Made or Kadek. The third child goes by Nyaman or Komang, and the fourth is named Katut. So, and then if you're fifth born, you go back to Wayan again. So, or Wayan Putu or Gede. Yes, it's very interesting. If you might pick up on that next time you're on the cruise. Also, when you go to Bali on holiday, for instance, there's it's an interesting way to know if someone's Balinese or not. So when you ask them their name and they don't say one of the Balinese names, you know they're from Jakarta or Surabaya or one other part of Indonesia, not Bali. So I'm full of crazy knowledge, by the way. Today I heard that in Australia there is a period with magpie attack people, up to causing serious injuries to people. Yeah, Russell, have you experienced this or heard about it? Yes. I should pull this screen sharing back up because I wonder if there's any interesting pictures to see. Where we were living in Rockingham by the beach, there is some very big pine trees, and all around between there and the shopping center, they basically nest in the trees, and they're basically protecting their young, these magpies that swoop. And my wife, at the park, we had a park literally across the street, and the government even posts signs saying that it's magpie season. Be cautious where you're walking. So right at the park opposite our house, they had signage. At the beach, they had signage. And then on the walk to the shopping center in the other direction, they had signs as well. So my wife was like scared to death of walking at the park because of these swooping magpies. Let's see if there's any pictures because it's magpie season Australia. So let's have a look at some of these pictures because people have these. Actually, these are like photographs on Google Images, but these are mostly like people's cell phone photos, I think, and where the birds just come down. And then this lady right here, there's actually a few of them. So people, particularly bike riders, they wear like their bike helmets and they put these big spikes everywhere. There's actually quite a few here. So there's another lady here with like a suggestion of that you should wear these spikes on your bicycle helmet. She's still getting attacked. Here's another guy with some spikes. They're basically zip ties that they poke up in the air to try and avoid getting swooped on. There's another one right here. So the guy's wearing a helmet, but these are these signs that they post. But it's a little bit blurry, this one, but how's this one? Many birds such as butcher birds, magpies, and miners nest in the area, may swoop on bystanders. This is normal protective behavior during the breeding season and last up to 6 weeks. Yeah, so this sign, this is the one, well, similar to this. So the local councils or administration post them mostly at the parks. They'd post them outside schools. At the beach where we were, there's a lot of trees with the magpies in. So there's someone else with spikes. Yeah, these are kind of like the press photographs, I guess, where they've really kind of got lucky with the photograph. Is there magpie season? Oh, cable ties. There you go. There's all sorts of concoctions. This guy here, just riding his bike with the spikes on the top of his helmet. Yeah, they're pretty much just cable ties. They're nothing fancy what they do. There's another one. They've got different colors on theirs. Look up. Magpie season starts early. Even like there's a wiki page on how to make the helmet with the cables on it. So very interesting. Yeah. I've never experienced it where they've actually swooped on me, but I'm pretty sure my wife had it happen. And she's like just, flapping around her hands. She mentioned it a couple of times. And I kind of laugh it off. But it's like if they really do peck you, and it would really hurt, honestly would. So in a forest, you can meet a bear, so it can be very dangerous. Yeah, I guess where you are, your part of the world, you'd have to be in fear of bears. In Australia, pretty much bigger animals like kangaroos tend to be mostly scared of humans. There's still incidents where they would possibly attack somebody, but they're mostly scared of humans and they'd run away. We saw some port runners running to make it back to the ship in Cozumel before the ship departed. Everyone was cheering for them from their balconies at the port runners as they ran. Yeah, the cruise ships, particularly on that Cozumel run back. So typically the ship will leave Cozumel, then it'll have a sea day back to, I guess, Horizon was Miami, right? So they would have like one sea day back. And the departure time from Cozumel to the arrival time at what they call the pilot station in Miami, they've got a very strict kind of window. The cruise lines, basically, the ship will sail fast and slow based on weather and current and wind. And then they'll also have a time that they need to get back to port, to get to the final port if it's the end of the cruise, or if it's Cozumel, then I don't know, Cayman the next day or whatever they're doing. So the cruise line, the captain doesn't want to leave an hour or two later. Quite often when it's one or two people, the ship will wait. They don't have to wait. It's just courtesy that they do, and the captain being compassionate for somebody. So the captain will know that he's got so many hours to get to the next port or the home port, and the ship's speed. And then obviously if the ship is delayed whatever time, an hour or two, it would maybe increase the need for the ship to go faster, and the ship will use more fuel. And that factors a lot into the ship maybe staying in port and waiting or not, or if they have to wait, you know what I mean? So Nelly wants to know, do I have a lot of Russian subscribers? Not really, no. We can probably look it up, I think. Or should we look it up? Audience. Let me go to this page right here. Oh, it doesn't give the... Oh, it does, yes. It kind of gives the quantities of views. So this is a bit more technical to look at, but if it's really interesting for somebody... let's go to that one. So basically, this is for the last 28 days. So 28% is from USA, 9% England. So Russia is 8.4% for the last 28 days. So it's the third highest country. If I go to... let's go to 1 year, I guess. That's probably easier. The Russian views go down to 5.5%. So there's considerably less Russian viewers, or this is views, not subscribers. I'm pretty sure you can't see the subscribers country, but I basically look at the views from what country is watching from. So it's England, America first, then England, Canada. Then after Russia, it's Poland, Australia, Germany, Philippines, Sweden, Finland, Norway, India. These are all 1%ers here. Singapore, Romania, Italy, South Africa, Ireland, Chechnya. Unless, is that Czechoslovakia? No. Czechia. I think that's Chechnya, maybe. Puerto Rico, Vietnam down the bottom here, Turkey, Hong Kong. So Ukraine is 0.3%, 2,000 views. That's kind of interesting, I guess, to a point, versus 5% Russian. So, yeah, predominantly the views are from the USA, England, Canada. So, yeah, not too many Russian viewers. I guess part of that is probably because all my content's in English. So it's probably not getting viewed necessarily by just general Russians who don't understand English, versus someone watching it and then either putting the subtitles on or someone watching it with Yandex browser. So if you've got Yandex browser on your phone, Yandex browser, you can watch YouTube through Yandex, and then you can do the voice translation. And there's an AI voice that would speak over me if you watched a video that's uploaded. Not live streams, but another normal video. You can watch it in Russian language. And a lot of people I actually ask who I meet who wants to subscribe, I said, oh, you can watch it through Yandex in Russian. Oh, okay, let me do that. So it's kind of interesting, I think. So, sorry, I'm just looking at my phone here. I don't want to get distracted, but thanks everybody for everyone who's watched the live stream tonight. It's kind of given a good boost to the last day of the year. I wonder for everybody in Russia, do you guys do your taxes for the end of the calendar year now for June into July? I'm not sure if that's a thing here. I remember when my wife was working, before she has a business now, she was working at Sandony, which is a bathhouse in Moscow. And she had to do her paperwork every year and her tax documents she had to give into the government. But I don't remember if it was in July or not. So, yeah, 29 likes as well, by the way. That's very nice. Especially when we've got more likes than people watching live. So that's always good. Oh, your mum met a moose. We're preparing for exams in a clearing, and a huge moose came out on them in Lozny Ostov in Moscow. That'd be kind of crazy to see a moose. I wouldn't know what to think if I saw like wild animals here, because you know of them from TV and from movies, but to see them in real life, it's kind of weird. It will be different. So, all right, everybody. I see we don't have too many people chatting. Okay, Nelly, Real Moscow, Mark, whoever's still here, thank you. And anyone who's silent as well, thank you as well. So yeah, I wonder if anybody watched the last couple of videos. So I went and did a video at the petrol station, or Zabravka. I was wanting to go to that particular petrol station for ages because I don't drive, but I go past it on the bus almost every second day to and from Moscow. So I just found it very interesting. One of probably the most interesting things that I found was the assortment of things in the shop part of the petrol station for sale. Such an interesting mix of things, for sale in a petrol station. I mean, I guess if I compare it to Australia, most of the things that you'd buy at the petrol station in Australia would be like snacks, cold drinks, coffee, like hot coffees, energy drinks, pretty much candy, sweets, lollies, whatever you want to call them, potato chips. Not really like necessarily like kids' toys, and they'll have like a small section which will have like some car repair things like some oils or light bulbs, headlight bulbs. Very basic things. But this one yesterday had, or day before we were there, had everything under the sun for sale in there. So, love your streams. Thank you, Mark. That's very appreciated. Yes. Yeah, thanks. It's interesting. Yes. Oh, Lozny Ostrov means Moose Island. It's the biggest forest in Moscow. I didn't know that. But I learn everything from you, by the way. So the amount of things that you know more than I do, which is amazing. Hello, Russell. Have you decided if you are going to go back to cruise ships for a long contract in the onboard shops? Dark Brother. I'm still weighing it up to go back. My wife wants me to go back to get out of the house for 6 months. I have the visa to enter the US. Okay, I've got the visa to come back into Russia. I just need to sort out a medical, which I can do because the clinics in Moscow are actually quite close to where I live. The clinic to do the physical or the medical. I'm still weighing it up. I'm kind of hoping that the YouTube channel is successful or more successful. And I can sustain living here without needing to go back to work. So for now, I'm thinking about it. But I've been thinking about it for a while and it's not happened yet. So it would kind of be like one last contract. We always say that working on cruise ships, one last contract. And years later, you're still saying that. So yeah, so I kind of haven't weighed it up. I don't know. I guess I should do a poll for that as well. 93%. So we had 14 voters and 93% said yes and 1 no. So I wonder if 7% probably, I think that's 1 vote out of 14. So we got 13 yeses and 1 no. I'll end the poll. So that was kind of fun. Yeah. All right, everybody. I'm going to get off or disappear. We got 20 minutes left of the calendar year. Did anybody take note that today's the last day of the calendar year? I wonder if anyone realized that, or if it bothers them or matters to them, or it's a part of their job, what they're doing. Yeah. And we had lots of people watching live, which is good. And some people will watch it later on replay. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. 14 people live. We ended up with 30 likes. So thank you for the thumbs ups and the likes. That's very nice. Pays about £1,000 per month. Not worth being away for that money. Yeah, so there is actually, I guess you've watched the same channel I've watched. I don't know what her channel name is, but there is a girl that's got a YouTube channel that works on Virgin Voyages. There's now comments everywhere now. The thing is, like, it's not necessarily that it's great money, but you can save money. £1,000 a month isn't a lot of money. I mean, I guess depending on the country you're from and how you convert the money. For me, going back to ships, I could make lots of YouTube content. So it actually is kind of fruitful to go back just to get off in all the ports and make more YouTube videos for the cruise channel. What's called evergreen content. So I could make cabin reviews. So when the cabins are empty on the turnaround days, I could make those kind of videos. So the money part of what I'd earn in the shops would be less than the YouTube would end up being. Faceless Chef UK. We've got another YouTuber here. Yeah, so if everyone wants to watch content about cooking, I know Real Moscow Projects, you like cooking. Faceless Chef UK has a cooking channel. So maybe everyone wants to check that out. I met him through vidIQ. So I think also you watch that as well, Real Moscow Projects. Yeah, and we haven't chatted for a while, Faceless Chef. I know you're busy. You got a lot of things going on. Today, I'll just tell you, I went to the school invited me This is my second time I've been there to an English. They had an English summer camp for kids in the summer holidays right now, and they invited me a second time today to their end of summer like play that they had, and then we had a pizza party, and they made a poster for me. Yeah, and the kids, and I made a Telegram channel so we can chat in English in the channel together. Yeah, it was really cool to go to the school. I was the only non-teacher there at their event. I thought some more parents would be there, but they weren't. So, U.S. news shows us early in the sanctions that you were all panicking with food shortages and such. I'm glad to view your videos, and it's not what they like to portray in the news here. Yeah, so Mark, in the very, very beginning, back in February, so that was kind of the end of winter, I guess I'd call it. There was a very brief week or two, literally very brief, where there was some shortages of sugar. Sugar, I think that's about all there was, shortage of sugar. Now, so basically, the shops, a lot of people panicked and bought sugar. I know during COVID in Australia, for instance, they were buying pasta, toilet rolls. I know it was toilet rolls was the crazy one. And so leading into summertime now, a lot of people go to their country houses, go to their Dutches. They have a lot of homegrown foods and vegetables and strawberries. So a lot of people use gelatins and sugars for making jams and relishes. So all of these grandmothers and elderly ladies and men went to the stores and bought up all the sugar, thinking there was going to be no more going into winter, and there was going to be a sugar shortage. Little did they know, another week or two later, the shops were restocked, and there wasn't a sugar shortage. So it's very, very well edited, the news stories, what they're showing about Russia. So yeah, I think when you see some of my videos with full shops, it really is full shops. Someone mentioned in one comment, oh, the food on the shelf is fake. The people walking around are all hired actors. I don't know what to say to that. So yeah. See you all next time, Russell, and chat. I'm too sleepy. Kisses from Moscow to everybody. Thank you. Yes, I am leaving. I'm going to get through the comments here. And then we'll slowly wind up. Sadly lacking at the moment until August, that is. Yes, that's okay. You can get back to it. I mean, I had a bit of a slump when we had our car crash. Well, that's 3 or 4 weeks ago now. I don't even know how long. We kind of had a week where I didn't do anything, and I did one video in a whole week, and that was when we went away for a holiday to Moscow region of about 300 kilometers from Moscow. Yeah, so I kind of had that kind of slump of about a week where I didn't do anything, and I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't feel like doing anything, and then I could see the channel just going down, and then now I'm sort of back to how I am. So, Russell, you're going to have to fake pray like your buddy if you want to make money. No names mentioned, Davo. Yeah, this is something that 2 other people have mentioned to me, friends and people who live here in Moscow as well. And it's I'm very good friends with the person you're talking about. Obviously he has his channel, he does his thing, I do something completely different. I mean, it's a bit scary knowing that I met him when his channel was as small as mine is, and he just basically blew up, as they call it, when your channel gets big very quickly. And then the video we made together got 3 million views, which is, that bothers me that I didn't film that day when we were walking around. I had my camera out to film and I didn't. I don't really like filming with other people, not with other people, but at the same time as them. I kind of like to do my own thing on my own and not, worry about them walking behind me or walking in the shot. So yeah, fake. I completely understand what you're saying, Davo. But I just have to let things happen naturally, and what comes of the channel comes of it, and what doesn't. So it's yeah. Schools can be awesome. Got some lovely gifts from my year 11 pupils. 16-year-old school leavers, yes. Actually, I got it's not here now. I got a bag of like candy, some nuts, different like chocolate coated nuts. And my wife took them straight away as soon as she opened it. It was in like a bag, and they'd written their names on it. And the other school teacher my wife knows sent a message that got sent a message that the kids love me. Da 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 da. Like I'm a little bit famous in my small town here, obviously being probably the only English speaking person living in the whole town. So yeah, prices of sugar is lower now. Yeah, so right at that time when there was the shortages, the price kind of spiked up, and then yeah, it's kind of stabilized a lot now. Yeah, I noticed that it's still a little bit higher than it was, but it's still reasonably priced. It was quite funny. Right at that same time, we went to a friend's. What was it? Her birthday, and we actually bought her some like actually the sugar. He put sugar in, and you can pour like sugar for when you make tea and coffee. And the other one was like a little bowl with a spoon to serve the sugar cubes. And it was completely incidental. It's same time that all this was going on, and we bought a box of sugar cubes. For anyone that's not from Russia, they predominantly have sugar here in sugar cubes. You can get ground sugar and things like that, bags of sugar, but there's a lot of sugar cubes. Like it almost feels like the olden days, especially being from Australia, that you don't get sugar in sugar cubes, but it's normal in Russia. And I gave her that as well. And I said, "Oh, we'll have to put that on the highest shelf in the lounge room as like a collector's item." It was you had to be there that day. It was very funny. So, Russell, how much longer do you think it will be until Russia will become like it was before 2022? I don't think you can probably answer that logically. Not logically. You can't really answer it. It would look to go back. The fact that Coca-Cola left, Renault left, Cone, this escalator company left. Quite a few major brands. I think Cisco, and I don't know every brand name that left. Okay, Nike's talking about leaving McDonald's. I mean, if everything became happy families tomorrow morning, for instance, hypothetically, or the next day, these companies aren't going to come back. And would Russia let them come back? I mean, ideally, as it is now, the government and the policies and procedures hasn't done anything to let them, leave. You know what I mean? There's been any rules about you can and can't leave, you can and can't stay. You can come and go. So pretty much all the businesses that have left or leaving or announced or whatever they've done is self-sanctioning. It's not sanctioned, self-sanctioning. So they've made a decision economically and business-wise to leave. Like with McDonald's, it was a $1.4 billion write-down by handing the company over to somebody else. DHL, FedEx have left, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I guess even Visa, MasterCard. There's a few hotel chains as well. I don't know all the names of them, but there's a series of hotel chains that have decided to leave. I don't think, realistically, if they became happy families tomorrow, it would still take a few years to stabilize, if there's such a thing, stabilize like the economy. Essentially, by all these places closing, none of them have announced the job cuts, job losses, people losing their jobs. most of the laws that the government have in place here protect the workers. So they can't just close and leave and then let every staff member go. They have to continue paying them. There's a lot of, laws and legislations covering the employment of people. So, the thing is, Russia's been able to, let's say the word survive for a lot of years. There was a lot of sanctions imposed in 2014 when Crimea got annexed and things like that. Russia's kind of weathered through that. They'll weather through this. And they've weathered through a lot of things going back to the First and Second War, and all these history kind of events that I don't fully understand. So the one thing that's different here too, I mean, I'm not sure where you're from, Dark Brother, country-wise, but Russians don't tend to worry about everybody else in the world. So Russia looks after Russia. Russian people look after Russian people. The government look after Russian people, and that's it. You know what I mean? If I look at it from the American point of view, and I saw even Biden today. We had on the streaming news on YouTube today from Al Jazeera, and then we were watching DW News as like a German one, and obviously it's more international news. And then they had the Biden speech from this G7 or wherever he was, and and Biden's just jumping in on everything about Ukraine. And I'm thinking, and I said to my wife, I said they've put another $800 million forward, and they put was it $40 billion in terms of all the different money and items and whatever they're sending, and they could put that into schools, into healthcare, into mental health in their own country. Now, I'm going to say their own country. Maybe you guys are from America watching. I'm from Australia. I live in Russia. I've got a Russian wife. And, in Russia, people don't worry about everything else. You know what I mean? If you don't switch on the news, obviously you wouldn't see things, but, the country can very well self-support itself. I mean, of course, some brands may or may not be necessary, but products, whatever. Sorry to put you on the spot, but he really makes me mad. Which is so now I don't have moderators. Now my thing is blocking because it is popular. Yeah, so Dark Brother, I guess, yeah, I completely understand what you're saying about my friend, I guess you could call it, or without saying names and words and things like that. It's actually a lot more than what you've mentioned in the comment here that's sort of been hidden and blocked. Another person pointed out to me it's $500, $1,000 a stream, which is staggering to think of in terms of money. So yeah, I can't believe that the Chinese companies haven't come into Russia to take up the market share for all the Western companies that have left Russia. Yeah, there's one of the clothing brands it's happened to. It was a Polish company that sold out to a Chinese consortium. Yeah, I guess for now, I mean, a lot of companies haven't necessarily all left. They've just announced their intentions, or they've announced a restructuring, or they've announced they're not going to put more money into the Russian company that's running. So a ton of companies have been very carefully wording their statements. So it's not going to be tomorrow that China will be in every business. That won't happen. Really, really won't. I mean, in terms of what I experience, so things like shopping and shopping centers and food stores. I mean, almost everything is Russian made, Russian produced, Russian manufactured, and the Chinese wouldn't be able to come into that market. You know what I mean? You're not going to get Chinese food or Chinese made food, and it would come by train from China. It's not going to get flown in, but I mean, possibly for they're talking about some of the Chinese car manufacturers. Talking about elevators and escalators, maybe Chinese companies versus other companies. Some of the production line and machines in factories may change over like that. So, like where I went to that bakery event, there was very little outside companies because most of them, someone mentioned in the comments about visa issues to get into the country. So a lot of the bakery machines were coming from Europe, so Italy, Germany, France. So where some of those companies or countries have announced, self-sanctioning, another Chinese company will make a bread producing machine. I don't know if I'm saying this right or not, if you understand. So I went to a convention a few months back that was heavy equipment. So things like diggers and scissor lifts and Manitous and forklifts and bobcats. And there was quite a few Chinese companies there at that event versus the traditional like JCB and Bobcat and things like that. There's a lot of Chinese Bobcats there. If you know what that is, the little small digger machine. So there is companies that are coming into the market, but there's still a lot of existing companies still here fulfilling the brand already that's still here. So I have a part Russian wife as well. Oh, there we go, Davo. Interesting. Yeah, it's especially when I was in Australia with my wife and we met quite a lot of Russians and Ukrainians. It's interesting how far everyone reaches and how many Russians suddenly we met. Even when we were out somewhere in Perth or in Rockingham where we lived, you could hear someone speaking Russian and you'd always like turn around because you could distinctly hear it when you're living in an English speaking country. So hello, Russell. My childhood I spent nearby Melitopol. I always ate a lot of sweet cherries, melons, and watermelons. Yeah, watermelon season is here at the moment. Actually, my wife bought cherries today when she was at the food market on the way home. I don't really like cherries. I'll have one or two, but I'm tired of the pips when I'm eating cherries. Have I tried wine or oysters from Crimea? No, I haven't. I know the strawberries we're eating are from Crimea. A lot of now it's strawberry season as well. So the wines, I know there's some wines in the stores, but I don't drink wine. So I drink beer. That's about it. Yeah, the cars and cell phones are very compatible to Western and Japanese cars and cell phones. Yeah, there's a lot of Chinese cell phone companies already before all of this. Samsung and Apple are still here. You can still buy all of them. Every brand is still here. They don't have Apple stores, as in the flagship Apple stores that you'd be used to where you might live in the world. But the Samsung shops are all open. Every Samsung shop is open. Here in Russia, I'm pretty sure quite a lot of years ago that Apple stopped having shops in Russia. I don't know what the situation was, but they have Apple reselling stores or authorized Apple reselling shops. So these are it's called Restore, RE Store. Hi, bud. What about internet providers being blocked? Kurt. I saw this in one of your comments. I'm not aware of any internet provider being blocked in Russia. There's no, what I'm aware of anyway. I guess I don't know every service provider, but where I live and the company that I use, it's had zero changes in all these months. Yeah, there's no block on anything here. I don't know where this information comes from that things have been blocked and like service providers and IP addresses. I mean, if you've got internet and you can't get to a website, like it's not working, you can use a VPN, and then you can bypass, like I'm using that for Facebook. For I don't really use Instagram, but particularly Facebook I use it for. And then also if I want to download things like torrents, I just use through a VPN. How do you find Russian beer? Nelly, honestly, I just buy whichever one I buy in the store, and I'm not a connoisseur of beer, so I just buy whichever one I grab in the shop. And I don't like beer out of a can, and that's pretty normal here. That everyone just gets the big beer cans and just drinks them, literally, even on this chair outside Krasnobila where I live. I tend to drink beer out of a glass, or tap beer, or pour it into a glass and drink it. So beer for me is beer. It doesn't really matter. I don't like dark beers like stouts and things like that, but any light beer and lagers. Would you and your wife feel safe going to Crimea for a vacation with a special operation going on nearby? I've never thought about it. I know a lot of people did go there in the past. I guess the fact that it's closer to some of the events going on would be a problem. I mean, I would say the vast majority of people here don't think about what's going on, and don't worry about what's going on, and don't think of it as a threat that something's going on. So I don't think it's a problem. I mean, we don't have a plan to go there. So if we do go anywhere, we would end up going east to my wife's home city, which is Ufa. Okay, Crimea is obviously with the ocean or the sea, but where we would stay in Ufa would be by a river, so we can still swim. So she's so supposed to come to Florida. Yeah, I don't know what to say about all this. It's interesting that things are blocked and things like that. I've never heard that. I mean, this has to be some kind of an excuse from some end, because there's no cell phone providers blocked here, no internet providers blocked. If your phone wouldn't work for some reason, you just get another SIM card and change providers, which wouldn't be a problem. Here, you can literally just walk in with your passport or whatever your ID is and get a different SIM card. So, KC, how's it going? Good to see you. I was slowly winding up the live stream, but now I've got more comments. I'm just keeping on replying. So, yeah, I'm going to go maybe about 15 more minutes, I think, and end at my normal 2-hour mark. So, yeah, the internet here is fast and cheap. Yes, completely agree, Nelly. Yes, I'm using a local service provider in a Prelivka here where I live. There's an office by the train station. Everything's by the train station here. So, and actually, the internet was already at this apartment before we moved in, so we just plugged in our router or our modem, I guess, router, and the internet worked. So, Steve, yes, that is the sanctioned Coca-Cola behind me. Let me grab them just for fun. It might be interesting for. Now I'm not near the microphone. Let's tip that a little bit like that. So yeah, I've got the two different colas there. So that's the sanctioned Coca-Cola, I guess you would call it. This would make a good thumbnail if anyone wants to screenshot this. And then this is the competing brand, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's Jumbo Cola, which I haven't actually opened this. I just finished a poll here on the chat, and I'm going to get a couple more. Oh, where shall I put it? Over here. The table, right? This is kind of our kitchen / dining room / everything place here. So that definitely is the sanctioned Coca-Cola. Yeah, you can still get Coca-Cola here, Steve. It's not really sanctioned. I would suggest for the next 6 months to a year, you can still get Coca-Cola here. It won't disappear that easily. So, yeah, bad news about Carnival. Their stock has dropped about 75% year to date. They just sold about 15% of their stocks to Saudi billionaires. Yeah, I didn't see that part of the news, but I did see that their stock's fallen under $10 at some point. So yeah, I mean, what's important with Carnival Corporation is the amount of cruise lines that are under the umbrella of Carnival. And then the majority owner is the same owner as Miami Heat basketball team. So he is awfully wealthy before all this or after all this and so on. So yeah, she was paying about $5 a month for internet. Yeah, I pay $5 a month. Sounds very cheap. I don't know which plan she has, but I'm paying about $15 a month for mine. I guess maybe $5 is based on the old exchange rate now that the dollar's gone down or up. Yeah, they both look like Coke. Yeah, so mine's about mine's 900 rubles a month for internet, and my phone is 600 rubles a month. So would be $8, $9 a month I'm paying for my telephone, for my unlimited phone and calling and texting and everything I'm doing. Yeah, this it does look awfully similar. That's the back. I mean, it's all in Russian, of course, but yeah, the thing is here, despite all of the rules and regulations and things that have been taken away, they've still got all of the, things about the plastics and recycling and things like that on there. QR code, barcode. So yeah, 48. So yeah, there's a way. I don't know how people do this. There's a way you can look at the barcode numbers and it tells you the country it's made, but I don't ever know the string of them very well. Yeah, did you hear that Thailand? Yeah, by the way, I hear lots of news. And the news you're pointing out, like the one about the carnival stocks, I knew about, but I didn't know about who bought the percentage of it. So Thailand has legalized marijuana now. Do you want to take your wife on a vacation back to Thailand someday? She wants to go to Bali, not Thailand. We've been to Bali a few times, and we both really enjoy it there as a holiday destination. We've never actually talked about going back to Thailand, even though that's where we met. Would be kind of interesting as a holiday to go there. I've actually been to Bali on holiday and flown to Thailand for a week, then flown back to Bali for another week holiday because it's kind of cheap to do that with this Air Asia low cost airlines. Yeah, legalizing marijuana is kind of crazy to do that. I mean, they've done that in a lot of countries. Yeah, you should do a blind tasting with a friend to see if you can tell the difference. Yeah, I was thinking of doing it with my wife, but she's not a big Coca-Cola fan. So my other friend who isn't here tonight, Sanctioned Ivan, who's the one that lives in the next town over. He's got a YouTube channel, Sanctioned Ivan channel. I guess he and we should sit down and do it. That would be probably the best. I think it's the same cola, but under a different name. I haven't heard that Coca-Cola closed its factories in Russia. So yeah, they've basically stopped producing Coca-Cola, is what they've said in the local news here. I have a window open here, so little mosquitoes like to come in and little flies. But they said that now that they've, I guess the word stop production, if you want to call it that. I mean, they've said they have, but like you said, I don't exactly think they have, but because everywhere you go, there's Coca-Cola. It's not out of stock anywhere. I mean, an occasional shop doesn't have it, but that might be just their supplier or their vendor that they're using. I don't know. So, but the plan is that they will produce other brands in the same factories for another company. So they won't essentially leave, they'll just not produce Coca-Cola. They'll produce other products. Okay, not Jumbo Cola, but they'll produce other types of colas for another brand. Take care. I'll finish watching later. Have to run. Peace from the USA. Thank you, Davo. Yeah, I'm going to go in 4 minutes, and I'll end right at 2 hours, which is what I've done in the past. So if that sort of sounds good for everybody. Steve, you must be Australian. I wonder. You're not very anonymous. Be sure to pack your own boogie board bag. Either that or you know some good news about Australia. Yeah, I'll definitely check my boogie board bag if I go to Bali. Actually, I've never took my own board over there. I have a board. It's one of the few things I still have in my parents' garage back in Australia is a boogie board or bodyboard. Because I bought a very, very nice one in Hawaii. I brought one back from Hawaii, believe it or not. I bought one in Hawaii when I was there. And I traveled with that and brought it home from Hawaii. And I've got it still to this day because it was a very nice one that I bought in a proper bag and everything. Yeah, Thailand is desperate for tourists now. They are changing the laws too to make it attractive for foreigners to come to Thailand now. Yeah, they got absolutely slammed by COVID, like really, really. And especially the amount of expats that live there and the amount of people that bought or rented apartments there and in the high-rise towers everywhere. Dark Brother, I watch a really neat channel on YouTube. If you want to watch stuff about Thailand, the channel's called Retired Working for You. It's a Canadian guy that's lived in Thailand a lot of years, and he was working in the film industry. I would imagine making movies or doing some sort of part of the filmmaking business. But he makes really nice YouTube videos about Thailand. It's called Retired Working for You. So if you want to watch something cool about Thailand, and a lot of his videos, he's just very personable. He's very easy to listen to and watch, and he gives some good information about Thailand. So just got here. Hello to all. Taking the kids to McDonald's this afternoon. Oh, no more McDonald's in Russia. Yeah, I'm about to leave in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So, and I see people are all coming in now. Eagle Danka. That's an interesting name. Wherever you're from, Eagle. Iggy. Sorry. And Dennis, yeah, good to see you. Yeah, I'm kind of going to watch the start of the stream. This is a bit impromptu, so just a bit of a chit chat as we always do. So, Steve Anon. Yeah, you only have to say certain keywords in terms of Australian news, and I'll know. And it'll just start, and it'll just trigger that I know what you're talking about. So, yeah. Oh, don't go, Russell. It just started heating up in the vlog. Yeah, it's kind of quiet, I guess, compared to normal. There's a bit of a mountain of people that joined and left and joined and left. So I'm not saying anything like major news or breaking news, or as someone else pointed out, I should be more sad and not happy and pray about things. So I don't really do that kind of thing. So yeah, I wonder if anyone watched the petrol station video, and I wonder if anybody watched the bakery convention video. I'm trying to mix up the channel a little bit. And then the actual next video that I'll put out, it should be the one about the sanctioned stores. So where companies have said they've left Russia, I kind of went to film about eight or so different stores that I went looking for that are still open, that have said they've left and said they've closed all their stores, and they're all still open. They're all still trading. So maybe that'll be kind of very trending story to watch. Yeah, with a mini market, right? Yeah, it's that. I've driven past that on the bus thousands of times because it's on the exact road going to Moscow and then on the way back the other direction home. And I was sort of shocked at all the different things in there. I mean, it's a very big petrol station, so I guess I should have expected that there was a lot of things in there, but just the variety of things is kind of just crazy. So, It's still a petrol station, right? I mean, I really, most people for the petrol station videos here, people are asking about the price of petrol. Like, can you film a video about the price of petrol and the comparisons with American pricing and British pricing and Australian pricing? So I can walk to my local. There's a local one at the exit of the highway where I live here. So I might have to go back and film again that one. Another YouTuber made one like that in Russia, and he got 5.4 million views from a video about the price of petrol at this petrol station. So yeah, in Australia, you go to a servo to pick up petrol and pick up cheap sunnies and a pair of pluggers. In Russia, you go there to buy a puzzle. Yeah, it's. I couldn't think of a thumbnail, and actually, the coloring of the thumbnail looks very washed out because of the lighting in there. But yeah, it's pretty true. Cheap sunnies. I don't know about the flip flops, but the pluggers. But yeah, you tend to go in there for a bottle of Coke or energy drink or a pack of chips or something or a Snicker or Mars bar. I don't know which candy you buy, but pretty much anytime I go for petrol, that's about it. Or you might go get a pie or a sausage roll or something. When I was at home, I did the retail fit out for a 7-Eleven. So they opened a new location in WA, and a friend. It's actually a guy from Melbourne that does the store fit outs for 7-Eleven. So he coordinates the fit out and brings specialist merchandisers in to do that for them. But he's based in Melbourne, but he needed some people in Perth to do it, and I happened to know the guy. So I did the store setup for one of the 7-Elevens, and we put all the retail stuff in there. And it was kind of interesting, like the popular things in there are pretty much in 7-Eleven is the slushies, the coffee, and then the Krispy Kreme, and that's it. So you should shake things up by doing videos of things we don't usually see. Maybe do videos about the poor people and how they get by during the crisis in Moscow. Yeah, I wouldn't call it a crisis, Dark Brother, but maybe interview a few pensioners and find out how they're going. Yeah, there's actually, if I could speak more Russian, or I could come up with some sort of a plan of somebody that could speak in English. There's 3 ladies that sit down from my apartment downstairs. There's 4 elevator towers, so we all go down our own one, and then the street's right there. This is not this side; it's the other side. And there's 3 ladies that sit on this bench every afternoon. Like, they must obviously live in the apartment block, and they meet up every afternoon on this bench downstairs. And I say hello to them because they recognize me walking past every time and things. But I always wonder what they sit and chat about every day. Do they talk about things going on? Do they talk about the weather? Do they talk about what they're cooking for dinner? It would definitely make an interesting video. I bet you get lots of views for those videos. Yeah, the only thing for me is I don't really like asking questions about what's going on. It's not really spoken about here. People, even today when I was at the school, sitting with the school teachers and then the teachers' aides, and even she said there, they don't teach it in school. They don't talk about it in school. They don't. And like she said, if I was to talk to the students about things like that, it would be my opinion, not necessarily the opinion of the school or of the government. And it's what I understand is happening. And it's not necessarily right to teach the kids or talk about it to the kids from her point of view. Typically people don't talk about what's going on, actually. I mean, I know it sounds like it's the only thing people talk about here. It's really not. It's probably the least thing talked about. I guess from my point of view, I mean, people that speak English with me will ask me, what do I think? That's pretty much the most commonly asked thing that I get asked here. What do I think of what's going on? And you don't want to upset anybody because you don't know. There's so many people with Ukrainian heritage here. There's so many people with Russian heritage, and the same in Ukraine. There's so many Russian people from Russian background there, and likewise, because obviously the borders are very close, right? Obviously. So you don't want to, ruffle feathers if you say something wrong, and that's what I've learned from living here over all the years, not to do that. Don't ask things, don't talk about things, don't bring things up. Unless you really know somebody and you've been friends with them for a while and you feel comfortable that you could ask them, I guess, to the point, personal questions. It's not really spoken about. So, all right, everybody, I'm definitely leaving now. We've passed 2 hours. I hope everybody not talking about politics, but how poor people are making it during the inflation crisis. How are they shopping for all their needs on a fixed income? Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. The thing is here, right, is there's not the inflation that is being talked about, like this 10 or 20 or 30% inflation rate. Things haven't gone up that much, especially across general food items. So the everyday average shopping that we do at the supermarket. So, it's not a crisis or inflation crisis. The average Russian doesn't want to need everything. Like, I wouldn't say, I guess from working on cruise ships in America, there's a lot more materialistic people than there is here, and maybe in Australia too. But there isn't people that want and need everything here. People just live. When they need something, they buy it. If they don't want it or need it, they don't go and get it. They don't buy things for the sake of buying things. So yeah, KC Adventures. Yeah, bye, Russell. Take care, my friend. Yeah, thank you everybody for the live stream. Thanks for joining me for 2 hours. It does seem like 5 minutes now when I look at the time, how long it's been. I hope you've had a good day if you're watching live. If you're watching it on replay, thank you if you've reached the very end of a live stream. Yeah, people in Moscow live very well. Yeah, not everybody, but the word very well is very difficult to kind of break down. But, let's say if I look at the kids at the school today, right, and the teachers and parents, the kids are happy. Actually, when I walked home with the two students today, so the young girl and the boy, I said, "Oh, let's in my apartment block that we've got a small supermarket." I said, "Oh, let's go in and get ice cream." "Oh, we don't want ice cream. It's okay." Like, it's a hot, sunny day. We've walked about 15 minutes home. They lived further down the street from me. And my shout, "I'll go buy ice creams." It was going to cost a couple of dollars for 3 ice creams if I got one. And they're like, they didn't want an ice cream, so, the kids are happy. You know what I mean? That's how they've grown up, and they don't want things. They're not, want everything, so, of course, in Moscow center, maybe it's a bit different, but in the suburbs, in the Moscow region where I am, it's, the town I'm in, I would consider it a working class, average Russian town, so. I see in your videos that the price of the food has gone up just as much as in the EU. They are calling it a crisis in the EU. Yeah, some items have gone up. I won't say a lot, but a little bit. So, for my wife and I and what we buy on a weekly basis, like the same products, we don't lavishly buy things. We don't eating caviar every day on crackers, You can buy caviar cheap here if you want to. You can buy better quality caviar, so I wouldn't say it's a crisis in my answer. And if I probably ask the next 10 people, they wouldn't say that either. So I think the media, blows out of proportion a little bit the wording, I guess, based on statistics. I think that's maybe the best thing. I mean, if sugar's gone up 20%, it's gone from 50 rubles to 60 rubles. It's not a big increase really, but it has gone up, so here we say Moscow is not Russia, it's another country. Yeah, completely true. I agree with that 100%. Even going out to Moscow region, and we went to the dacha for a week, went to the smaller town there, even smaller than this town. You can feel that difference. It's a country area, a regional area. And even in Ufa, I mean, Ufa's still got 1 million people living there, but it feels so much different from Moscow, even just coming out the airport. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, everybody. I'm going to say good night. Thanks if you're a subscriber to the channel. If you haven't subscribed and you want to follow new videos, there's a bell to get notified of new videos as they get uploaded. If you want, also, there's the option of becoming a channel member. You get access to earlier videos, different community posts. So... yeah, Dark Brother, your last message is like held for review. If you're not worried anywhere in the world, yeah, I think that's. Yeah, thank you, Nelly. By the way, yeah, sorry, I see your comments popping up. Yeah, I think this is the big problem. I'm going to leave this as my last thing, and then I'm going to go. If I look at it from an American point of view, I mean, I'm not American. I'm Australian. I live in Russia. Biden wants to worry about everything happening in the world. He wants to worry about Ukraine and not... Okay, does he worry about America? I hope he does. But he's worrying about Ukraine. He was worried about Afghanistan, about Iraq, about Syria, about now China. Some of the countries in Africa that were involved with, Yugoslavia. And if you look at Russia, Russia worries about Russia. And the Russian government, I'm going to say, worry or about the Russian people. You know what I mean? They do good things. The school I went to today is newly built. Okay, they probably had an old one here for a lot of years. You know what I mean? The kids get good education. The shops all have food in them. There's pharmacies. There's a hospital nearby. We've got children's hospital nearby in the same town here. And, we've got access to very reasonably priced medicine, or even some people say cheap medicine here compared to Australia, America. And the same goes for healthcare. I mean, is it the best healthcare? Probably not, but it works and it's adequate. There's still private healthcare here. There's still private practices you can go to, private hospitals if you want to pay. But, there's more of a closed circuit here, or closed loop country. You know what I mean? Why aren't the shops empty, the supermarkets empty? Because 95% of the goods are from Russia or CIS countries. There's no reliance on the need to import everything. You know what I mean? The Russian country can make and produce and manufacture in country. You know what I mean? They can grow everything, So that's what I'm going to leave you with, everybody. I hope some of it made sense. This is all my opinion, by the way. I'm not reading a little notepad on the side of the table here where I've written down things, or, looking at something as a crib sheet or anything. So, yeah. Thank you, Nelly, Dark Brother, Steve, KC. I'm not sure who else was here. Yeah, Eagle before, Dennis, Davo, V Stuff, Kurt, and that's all, and everyone else who was here earlier. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Pablo, I'm just leaving. You'll have to watch the replay of the live stream or catch another video from the channel. Have a good night, everybody. Again, thanks for the thumbs up. 39 likes. Yeah, bye, Dark Brother. Bye, Pablo. Nelly. Thank you, Nelly, for some of your comments, and also Dark Brother and other people as well. Steve. Yeah, I hope you have a good night, everybody. And I'm off to get a drink and let my cheeks relax from smiling so much. So, yeah, bye, everybody.